It makes such a nice, satisfying, crisp, clear sound. Not all that long ago, I didn't make much per year at all. Now, there were a lot of different reasons for this, but one of the biggest reasons was just that I was all over the place. I was trying to sell several different products. I was trying all sorts of different marketing strategies, and it just wasn't working. One of the main reasons it wasn't working is because when you spread yourself thin like that, it's way harder to go further with one thing. You can't make as much progress in one area because you're trying to work on so many different things. That was one of the things that was really holding me back, keeping my income small. The other reason this didn't work for me was just because it didn't really work with my personality. I do a lot better when I can obsess over one thing, go really deep with that one thing and put a lot of effort and energy into it. And when I have too many different things that I'm working on, I just find that I'm not really interested enough in any of them to put forth my full effort. So I wasn't making much money. In fact, I was only making about $20,000 a year. In the rest of this video, I'm going to explain to you exactly why I was doing the strategies that I was doing and what those strategies were, why they weren't working, and what I changed to increase my income by 1,000%, to go from earning $20,000 a year to earning $200,000 a year in not very much time at all. So I'm gonna grab myself a quick cup of coffee and we're gonna sit down and talk about all that. Stay tuned. Okay, coffee. Not Chemex, but a lot faster and honestly still tastes so good. Hi, Kat. So I realized there was one other thing that I wanted to say earlier, and that was another reason why this wasn't working for me. And that was because I was spreading myself more thinly, because I was more just trying to be a jack of all trades, really. It meant that I wasn't seen as an expert in anything. I wasn't exactly known for anything. There wasn't anything about my brand that made it stick in people's brains as me being the expert or the authority in any particular field. And so there wasn't any reason for them to buy from me over my competition that was more niche down and was seen as an expert. Now, that all changed once I did change this one big thing that really 10x'd my income. But before we get into that, what I want to share with you is why I was focusing on so many different things. And I mean, I wasn't focusing on any of them. And the reason that I want to explain this is because I think that when you hear my reasons for being so scattered, you might realize that you have some of those same reasons, and it might help you to get over them and to be able to niche down a little bit more. The first and biggest, most overall encompassing reason was just that I had a scarcity mindset. I was worried that I wouldn't make enough money, that I wouldn't be able to support myself, that there wasn't quite enough to go around. And so I felt like I needed to have my fingers in a lot of different pies. Is that the right expression? I'm not really sure. My thumbs in lots of different pies, so that I could be earning money in a lot of different ways, because otherwise I was worried that I wouldn't be able to make it. So that was the first thing, this kind of general scarcity mindset. The next thing was really related to that. It's that I didn't want to miss out on opportunities. I saw so many different ways that I could make money, and they all seemed like great ideas and things that I didn't want to miss out on, so I tried to do all of them. But as I mentioned, it really held me back. I also was what I've heard some people call multi-passionate. I like a lot of different things. And this is definitely an excuse that I hear so many people use for why their business isn't more niched down, why they are more scattered, why they offer several different things. They say that they love a lot of different things. These are all passions of theirs. They can't stand the thought of giving any of them up. And that was definitely the case for me. I love a lot of different things, and I find a lot of different things so interesting. And I couldn't stand the thought of not talking about those things on my YouTube channel or on my blog, or offering products or services related to those different interests that I had. And the last thing holding me back was that I hadn't yet smashed the like button. Have you smashed the like button yet? If not, go ahead and hit that like button if you are enjoying this video. Okay, so the big question, the thing you're probably wondering is, what did I change? What was this thing that I did that took me from earning 20K a year to earning $200,000 a year? It was annoyingly simple. I just did less. I just focused on one thing instead of spreading myself so thin. Now, when I say that I focused on one thing, I did this in several different ways. First of all, I focused on only having a brand that was about one thing, only being an expert at one thing. I also really narrowed down the products that I sold to focus on only selling one product. Now, just to be clear, I still offered a few other products. I still occasionally talked about a few other things, but I changed my focus to only be on one main thing. I also changed my marketing. So I only focused mainly on one marketing strategy, and I only was focusing on one marketing platform. Instead of trying to post constantly in a million different places, I focused on just making the best YouTube videos that I could and really understanding the YouTube algorithm. And that is what had this tremendous change on my business and on my income. Now, right now I feel like I want to give you more details about exactly what this looked like, but there's not that much more to say because it really was this simple. Now, that's not to say that it was very easy, because I actually had a really hard time just getting myself to limit myself in this way, to be able to focus in this way, but it was simple. What I did wasn't complicated. I just had to convince myself that it would work and convince myself to actually do it. Now, another thing I wanted to mention is that I'm kind of guessing that what I'm talking about here is something like what is talked about in that book that everyone always references called The One Thing. I don't actually know because I haven't read that book, but I'm a little bit curious about it. So comment down below and tell me if this is the same concept that is talked about in that book, and also if I should read that book, if you would recommend it. But this is the thing that has had this dramatic impact on my business. About 2 years ago was when I had started my YouTube channel, and I saw that it was starting to take off, and I decided to go all in on my YouTube channel, have that be my one marketing strategy. And it's also when I really cut down my product offerings. I stopped offering so many different products and services and decided to focus on making just one awesome online course and making it the best course that I could so that it could help people as effectively as possible. So when I made these few simple changes, there were some pretty big and dramatic results. Not only did I go from earning $20,000 a year to earning $200,000 a year in just a couple years, but it also had a big impact on me personally. I felt way more confident when I was more focused and selling fewer things and was more of an expert at what I was helping my customers with, because since I wasn't trying to help them with so many things, I could get way, way better at what I did help them with. It was also way simpler, which meant that it was easier because I wasn't trying to create a million different products and be on every different platform that I could be on and use all these different marketing tactics. I was able to do a lot less while at the same time earn a lot more. Aside from what I did, the other big thing you're probably wondering is how I did it. Especially, you're probably wondering that if maybe you are struggling with this also. Right now you're offering several things, or you're trying to build a following on several different platforms and it's just not working. So the first thing that I want to address is just that this was really tough for me. It wasn't something that came easily. I'd been working on building my online business for several years at this point, and the reason why my business was growing so slowly was because I really wanted to offer all these different products, all these different services, talk about all these different things, and I felt like I needed to be on all these different platforms. And so convincing myself to limit myself in this way was scary and really difficult. I was so worried that I would miss out, and I was also so worried that I would get bored. I thought if I just talked about one thing all the time, if my business was just about one thing, then I would just lose my interest in that, and I wouldn't have the same passion, the same energy for my business, and I would eventually just quit and do something else. But one of the biggest things that helped me overcome these fears was just the realization that limiting my business in this way didn't have to limit me as a person at all. I could still pursue all sorts of other hobbies and interests. I could still have other interests and be really passionate about them, even if I didn't tie them into my business, even if I didn't offer professional services or products related to these hobbies and interests. I could actually have more freedom and more opportunity to pursue those things because my business could be more successful, so I could work less and earn more, which would give me the resources and the time to pursue those other things that I had interest in. Rather than when I was trying to make all of those things part of my work, I didn't have the opportunity to really pursue any of them very fully, both because I was spread so thin, but also because I had to work so much, but also just because I didn't really have the money to fund these different hobbies. The other thing that I worried about was that maybe I wouldn't be being true to myself if I just limited my business to one main thing. I was worried that I might be being artificial or that I might not be like truly authentic if I just focused on one thing and I didn't talk about other things that were important to me. But the reality is that my business is not me. My business is one thing that I do. It's one piece of my reality, and I am much more than what my business is, and you are too. Whatever you do for your job or whatever type of business you run or want to run, you will be so much more than that, and there's no way that you could possibly cram all of your personality and all of yourself into your business anyway. You're gonna have a life outside of your business. And so the fact that your business only represents one facet of who you are isn't a bad thing. It's just a reality. It's just the way things are. And the final thing that really helped me to be able to actually convince myself to do this was to realize that it didn't have to be forever. I could just give this a try. I could try focusing on one thing for a while. I could try offering just one product. I could try focusing on just one marketing strategy, focusing on one platform. And first of all, the world wasn't gonna end. But second of all, I could always go back to spreading myself thin if I wanted to. I could always start promoting those other products more. I could always get more active on the other platforms again. I wasn't gonna be losing anything by just focusing on one for a while. So I decided to just date this one idea. I decided to just for a time focus on these particular things. But the fact that I was dating this idea didn't mean that I was settling down, that I was committing, that I was marrying this idea. I could date it for a while, see if it worked, and then I might decide to commit to it for the long haul, or I might decide to date a different idea. And that worked. And that was what really gave me the mental freedom and really helped me to shift my emotions so that I wasn't so worried about just giving this a try. This is what I spend my money on. What would you spend your money on if you made 10 times the amount that you currently make? That's what I want to know. I'm actually really curious. If your salary was increased by 10 times, what would you spend the money on? Comment below, tell me, I want to know. Of course, if you liked this video, then please do hit that like button to let me know, and also to help more people find this video, because when you hit that like button, it really helps my channel out and it helps YouTube to know that you enjoyed the video, so they will recommend it to more people who also might benefit from it. And if you want to see more videos like this in the future, all about how to work for yourself and be more successful, then make sure you subscribe. I make new videos every single week, and I'd love to have you join me for another one. That's all for now, but I hope to see you next time. Bye!